sometimes we need a little humor. Do you guys remember Anthony Weiner?
We all remember Anthony Weiner very well. Little too well.
I don't recall who that is. I
You
know
don't
the
remember
name rings a
Thanks
bell.
for setting it up, Napoleon. You're a good player. Yes, anded
I'm
it.
being honest, though. I know the name, but I'm like, who's that guy? I don't know the story behind it.
He was
Should
a
I tell him,
congressman.
or
He was a Queens congressman.
Is this a twist, or should I tell him?
Well, we're gonna show the thing, but he was
Okay.
a Queens. I'll give you the basics, and then you can add the extra the color, whatever. Guys, I've been doing pre-tapes nonstop. My brain is not functioning. Anthony Weiner was a congressman in Queens. He was known for being one of the most progressive congressmen before the Squad. He was like buddy with Jon Stewart. Used to go on the Jon Stewart show. They had a little shtick going. I loved seeing him on there. Anthony Weiner was also married to Uma Abedin, who is the right-hand person to Hillary Clinton. Anthony Weiner was running for mayor of New York City in the same election that de Blasio was running in. And some things started to twist. He was the front runner. Very charming New Yorker kind of attitude, like in your face. If you know anything about Mayor Koch, just like would insult you he insulted me to my face. I was once in the green room of New York One and going on to talk about Bernie, and he goes, "Bernie who?" And then I said, "Bernie Sanders." He goes, "Bernie who?" And I'm like, "Oh God, shut the F up." Anyways, okay, so Julia, do you want to add the color to this conversation?
This man cannot stop showing his penis to people. He cannot stop. He is unstoppable. So he has been in so many different scandals involving showing his penis to people. Like he
laughing too hard.
He didn't. We don't know that he had any physical affairs, but he kept taking pictures of his penis, sending it to women. And then he had a big comeback where it was like, "I'm so sorry that I keep sending pictures of my penis to people. I am back now. I'm running." I think it was actually the mayor race or the governor race or something. He came back again.
It was the mayor's race. You're right.
They made a documentary. You guys got to watch this documentary.
So good.
It's called Weiner, which great. I mean,
it's like he's literally living out his name.
This. Yes, it's called Weiner, and the documentary was supposed to follow like his comeback, and instead, what it follows is how he still can't stop sending pictures of his penis to people. Like literally in the middle of the campaign, another scandal breaks that he was doing it again. So then he has another press conference and he's like, "I have not sent out any new pictures of my penis since January 1st or something." Like there's some arbitrary cutoff date where he's like, that's when I stopped. And then there's another scandal and more penis pictures come out. Like it just like happens like 15 times. And his poor wife is like there kind of with this like painted on smile on her face. Like, yeah, okay, it's going great. Meanwhile,
and they had a young child, and one of the times he sent a penis, his child was on the bed with him.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And okay, but it gets worse. And then in the documentary, he's very delusional, which is pretty common to candidates. But like all of his consultants kind of start dropping him, and they're like, "You should drop out." And you see that he has all these yes men around him that are like, no, like you're still gonna win. He ends up getting like 2% of the vote or something. No, but he ended up getting like no votes. Yeah. And then one of the women that he had been sexting with like showed up and like surprised him with TMZ like at his like not victory party, but loser election party. Loser party. And then actually it got even worse because then I'm pretty sure he went to jail because he was doing it with a child. Like he was like sending pictures to like a 16 or 17
over Twitter
or something.
Wow.
That's the crazy
yeah. So then he went to jail, and then I think his wife finally left him at that point, but she might have gone back again.
Hang on a second. Let's double check. Did he actually go to jail? He was prosecuted. Maybe David,
went to jail for like
David, can you work on that real quick? Simultaneously. I want to add one layer to this, a really big one, because I no one ever talks about this. The emails. The whole effing email scandal started because of this, because they wanted the server was taken from Huma's house and
okay, this is actually
my hands are flailing
very funny. This is very funny. Essentially, like you can make the argument.
No, this This is like a Key and Peele skit. Go ahead.
You can make the argument that Trump won the election because Anthony Weiner would not stop sending his penis to people.
Exactly.
And here's why. Right when they were investigating Anthony Weiner for more penis crimes, they like raided his house, and he's married to like this top Hillary Clinton advisor.
Literally the closest person to Hillary Clinton. Her like,
so
body
they took her computer as well. And on that computer, they found emails that were supposed to only be, they were on a private server. They were supposed to be on a government server. So this was another email scandal. And this is the one that broke right before the election, where James Comey went on TV and was like, we're investigating this. So a prolific penis it's just had a huge impact on the fate of our nation.
Can I just like add the moral of the story here? Once again, a man's penis gets in the way of a woman's dreams.
That's true. A few women's dreams.
A few women's, yeah. Well, and multiple penises, because Bill Clinton also did. I would argue that Hillary Clinton, as problematic as she was, she carried the legacy of Bill Clinton, not just his sex scandal, but his actual presidency, which she wasn't, she advocated for health.
Is this him saying he's learned not to show his penis again? This is like the 40th time he's done this.
Let's play this. Oh, wait. Also, I have to add one more thing. I'm sorry, guys. There's so much here. So Curtis Sliwa is the guy with the red cap. He's part of this racist group that just patrols around New York for the last 30 years, trying to combat crime, aka people of color. He has had a reoccurring spot on New York One for many years where he just yells at people with another guy named Pearson Barrero, but they're not on anymore together. He also ran for mayor on the Republican line. And fun fact, he was in a relationship. His baby mama is Melinda Katz, who ran against Tiffany Caban in the Queen's DA race. I think I've got everything there. Okay. That might be all of it. All right. Now, without further ado, the penis.
Let's hear it. A
new show on WABC Radio in New York. They are exploring the left-right divide and major issues afflicting New York City and beyond. One of the co-hosts is former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner. He spent 18 months in confinement for sexting with a 15-year-old girl. He was released in 2019. He says he's ready to answer tough questions about his own life, the challenges facing the country. He's joining now our friend Curtis Sliwa with a new show. Their co-host, The Left versus the Right. Anthony Weiner, thank you for being with us. Curtis Sliwa, always good to see you, my friend. I guess the first question that I have is, you pled guilty, Anthony, to sending obscene materials to a young girl, a 15-year-old girl. You pled guilty, you served jail time. Have you changed? Are you a different person?
Well, I think so. I don't think anyone can go through that kind of experience. And I think this is probably true of people who have been through other types of adversity. I don't think you go through that type of experience and don't emerge changed.
Well, wait, but Anthony, wait a minute.
So I think it's fairly obvious.
That's an obscure answer. I think so. Either you know in your heart if you changed, or you know in your heart if you didn't change. Can you assure people?
Wait, pause
you're
it.
Going to now try and draw in an audience.
Sorry, I just have to pause. I love that Sean Hannity, this is his classic way of attacking people. Like, you're not answering my question, and that's actually not my question. But Sean Hannity most recently left his wife of many, many years for another host on Fox and Friends. So, just want to add that layer. Continue.
And they're going to want to know if you changed or not. Have you changed?
They can judge for themselves.
I'm sorry?
Wow. This man is not great at apologizing.
Themselves. I'm not out to persuade you or anyone else that I've changed. I mean, I'm doing a radio show and people can call in and ask me questions. We did one this past Saturday where people had an opportunity to call in and where Curtis asked me a bunch of questions and I answered the best I can. But in terms of like I'm trying to draw someone in, no, I'm not trying to make someone like me or someone be persuaded of any particular outlook on me. We're going to have some conversations about things going on in New York City and other places, and hopefully people will tune into the show, but I'm not terribly interested in trying to make them feel any differently about me.
Curtis, I would say between the two of us,
Napoleon, do you think...
I'm embarrassed for him watching that. I'm like, why would he subject himself to that type of, put himself on that platform knowing he's going to probably get questions like that.
Because the Clintons banned him from CNN and he can't get on MSNBC. He's in a,
he needs to call it quit. Like, public life is not for you, my man. Like, you have this compulsion that, like, his compulsion was stronger than him trying to be mayor of New York. That's a hell of a compulsion right there. Like, so he might as well call it quits. I don't see where he's going with that. But is it just me or did Hannity, like, I'm not trying to fat shame, but did he gain a lot of weight?
He's gotten a little well, he has a new girlfriend. He can get comfortable.
Man. This man, Anthony Weiner, what a bewildering human being. Just what a bewildering human being. Like, why are you on TV? I mean, this should put the nail in the coffin of cancel culture. Because first of all, a white man clearly can't be canceled. This man went to jail. This man went to jail for sexting with a 15-year-old. And our nation's response is like, let's get this man back on TV to talk about politics. He has good judgment. Like, why are we asking him about anything? This is crazy. Why does he have a job? Like, no.
He's got bills to pay.
Cuckoo.
Listen,
it's cuckoo.
He has alimony, I assume. Well, I mean, listen, he could do what other folks do, write a book. But the most mystifying thing about Anthony Weiner,
I would write a book. Read the book.
I mean, I would totally read it from the beginning to the end, because he also is very snarky. But the way he answered is just so Anthony Weiner. It actually is similar to my conversation with him in the green room, where he was like, Bernie who? And then I finally snapped at him, and you know what I asked? And I was like, the guy who got 46% of the vote in New York, your home state, where your mother-in-law couldn't seal the deal and we had no operations, whatever. This is a classic Anthony Weiner. He doesn't care. But what you said about cancel culture, the worst form of white male, this is exactly what they do. They rebound and they have that padding and they have absolutely no humility about it. And they partner up with some of the most ridiculous, folks in the political space, in media. Like, to choose to go on Hannity, there are a lot of different shows you could go on. Hannity? He's not.
I mean, I guess the Republicans feel like, if they want to, I think when they choose Democrats to put on the air, they want to choose like people who either can't argue well or are sickos, I guess. they're like, here's the other side. It's Anthony Weiner.
This guy has to be delusional to like think he could just, get on these type of platforms and look good or redeem himself. And he doesn't even have anything prepared for these type of questions. Like, you could tell he was surprised. So it's just for him to already have that backstory that you guys illustrated and to go through all these, sending these pics of whatever for these years. And then this young girl come back out and back on TV and not have nothing to say about it. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, that's the type of guys that are in power, that have held positions of power. That's crazy to me.
Or maybe he knew very well. I mean, he didn't want to go on Hannity, or he knew he had to build that side of the audience. And he depends on the money. It's sort of like a Rising situation where, the Hill's Rising.
He's promoting the show on there?
He's promoting a show with Curtis, the other guy on there. Mm-hmm. And Curtis's base is more Hannity. And I don't know, maybe they're going on MSNBC or not. But he knows very well he's going into enemy territory and he needs to get that audience. So he's just going to give them as little as possible. There's that aspect too. I don't know where they're going for their left audience. Maybe nothing. Maybe he's just doing a full Hill Rising.
He's running away from his real destiny, which is to promote an OnlyFans page. That's his trajectory. That's his redemption.
I agree.
That's the only thing he should be doing.
The Anthony Weiner OnlyFans.
Tell me that's not a great idea.
Everyone can get a piece of the penis.
Incredible idea. Everybody goes home.
He has the name. He has the history. He has the
name. Built-in audience.
I have a question for you. This is a real legal question. If anybody's a scholar in the law, if somebody is underage that goes to an OnlyFans page and sees Anthony Weiner's penis, whether he didn't seek it out, but he's just just there for all to see.
I think that's an OnlyFans legal issue, not a Weiner legal issue.
Got it. Okay. I think this is great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Prolific penis. Congratulations, Anthony Weiner. Maybe we should have him on the show. I bet you he would say yes, guys. I think it would be a glutton for punishment. I'd be like, listen, I just want you to talk. I'm not going to ask you any questions. The floor is yours.
You got to watch the documentary because I think like you really hit the nail on the head with the delusion thing. You see like the delusion of how he like stays in the race. Oh my gosh. And we forgot one of the funniest parts of the scandal was that his fake online name, which I think he should use for the OnlyFans, Carlos Danger. That was his alter ego, Carlos.
That's crazy.
And it's so sad because you see his wife, Huma, who's very demure. She doesn't, completely opposite personalities, and she's sitting there making fundraising calls for him, and I'm just like, get out! Get out!
Yeah.
If Hillary is your mentor, do not take her advice in this moment. Get out. You can divorce him and still run for Senate.
You make a great point though with these men in positions of power, because it's kind of like they almost can't lose. Like
they really
guys
can't.
Getting right back on TV after all of this. It's just like, what does it take? And no wonder they act like the way they act, because they can't do no wrong.
If you aren't already, join us on patreon.com/the Nomiki Show and become a patron. That's how we do this. We may not always get along, but it's really important to support independent media. In the meantime, stay in solidarity.